Estamos listos, Wanda.
Ready?
Wanda.
Okay, great. So good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Monday night training call. Today we have a special guest. We all love her. Sue Burdick is our upline. Bob and Sue Burdick have been with the Juice Plus business. Actually, they were in when it was NSA 30 years ago. NSA, and then it became the Juice Plus company 25 years ago. They are our trainers. They have been to Puerto Rico. Most of you here are from Puerto Rico. They have been to Puerto Rico to train us, to support us, to encourage us. They're the people that have our back. Whatever we need, we can call Bob and Sue Burdick. They're self-made millionaires. They have a fabulous story. 30 years later, they have the ultimate success story. They have duplication within their own family. So I'm going to let Sue go ahead and tell her own story. So I introduce you all to the fabulous, the lady that we all love, Miss Sue Burdick. Sue, take it away.
Thank you very much. Is my mic on?
Yes.
Okay. Well, good evening, everybody. Buenas noches.
Buenas noches.
Thank you, Wanda, for that kind introduction. I'm just someone who worked hard and got lucky. I actually dropped out of high school, and I married a guy who had also dropped out of high school. And we had 5 sons in our first 6.5 years of marriage. So Bob was a carpenter, and I was staying home with the kids. And when the youngest one went off to school, I started looking for ways to supplement his income, to bring money into the home without punching a time clock, because I wanted to be there as much as I could for my children. And I realized that I was doomed to make minimum wage because I didn't have any education or any skills. And so I just got a little bit creative, and I got a real estate license, and I tried selling real estate, grooming dogs, teaching aerobics, washing windows, cleaning houses. I tried doing Herbalife. I had a couple of different just jobs, but mostly I tried to do things by the hour. I mean, by the job rather than the hour. But I was about ready to throw in the towel and go get a job for real when a friend of mine gave me a call and told me that he'd started something new, and he was really excited about it, and he wanted to get my opinion on it. Well, nobody had wanted my opinion on anything in a real long time. Let me get a drink of water. Excuse me. A tequila. No. It's just water with lime. We'll have the tequila later. So I was flattered that he wanted my opinion on something that he was doing. So when Bob got home that night, I said, my friend Dave's going to come over and ask me about his business. And Bob said, "Who are you kidding? That guy's going to try to sell us something, and we're not buying anything he's got." So that's kind of how I started the business. But my friend did introduce us to the product, and we loved the product. But I told him no thank you to the business because I had tried the Herbalife, and I thought that I just kind of grouped them all together, and I thought pretty much sales is sales. And thank goodness my friend was persistent with me. So one of the first lessons I learned, besides make your memory jogger list and have your friends on a list, the second thing was probably to be persistent with your friends. Lovingly persistent, don't badger them, but just keep sending them an email or keep inviting them. So he kept inviting me, and one day I picked up the phone, and he was on there with a friend of his doing a 3-way call. So one of the next things I learned was the value of a 3-way call. Because together they were able to convince me that I was jeopardizing the financial future of my children with my negative attitude at not even coming to look at what was there. So I agreed with them, and I said, if you could raise your right hand and promise to stop calling me, I'll come and look at what you have. I honestly left my house thinking I would go and be polite and get them off my back, have them stop calling me. But once I got there, I already knew that I liked my product, and they showed some numbers that really got my attention. And I don't know how new everybody is or how much you know about the business, but what I saw was pretty much today 12 Club, making $2,000 or $3,000 a month from home and being my own boss and not having to punch a 9-to-5 clock and kind of delegate my own time. And it would only cost me $50, and I could do it from home and be my own boss. That's exactly what I saw. And they showed the bigger numbers, the millions of dollars, and you always think, oh, well, what if? But for realistically, $2,000 to $3,000 a month is what I was looking for to supplement my husband's income and keep me from having to go out and get a job, a real job, a job, just over broke. So anyways, I went home and I took brought Bob back to another meeting, and he also saw the numbers, and he is a numbers guy. He's not just a carpenter, but he specializes in things that are really hard to build. He built some high risers in all up and down the east coast of Florida, and here in Tennessee as well. But anyways, Bob understood the numbers, and so he let me get started. I said, do you love me enough to let me try one more thing? Because everything I did, Bob put money into, and I never made any money back. So he just wanted me to go get a job and bring in some money, not try this and that and try to find myself. So anyway, I got started, and at that time, you used to have to buy your product and then go out and resell it. So you have a lot of advantages today over those of us who started, 30 years ago. But anyways, I bought a small amount of product, and the next morning when Bob was going to work, he took a look at the product and he said, I can't believe I let you talk me into this. He got we call buyer's remorse. He was remorseful that I let him talk me into doing another one of these or another thing, even if it was selling real estate or grooming dogs or doing something other than just getting a job. So he said, that stuff's going to sit right there and rot because you've never sold anything, and I'm sorry that I let you do this. So it was kind of like he issued me a challenge that he said, you can't do that. You've never done that. And I said, I'm doing this when I was just waiting for the right one to come along, and this is the right one. I could just feel it in my bones. And I think success means when opportunity meets preparation. This was the opportunity, and I was prepared. I had done so many other things. It was time for me to hit the right one. And so I just did what my upline told me, my sponsors. They told me, make a list of all my friends, get my story down, and start sharing my story every day with people. So I wrote my story out. I put it by the phone, and I started calling my friends. And like I said, my goal was actually to gather my handful of customers and get 3 teammates. I didn't know how long that would take me, but there was a 60-day program to fast track. And you really just have to get 1 teammate and 20 customers. So that was my goal, to do that in 60 days. But in 30 days, I was able to get 22 customers and 3 team members. So I was off to a really fast start. And I just started teaching them what I knew. And Bob knew the numbers better than anybody else, but he was really a bit negative to the business. So I had him teach my team the numbers, the marketing plan, the stair steps. So I put a flip chart in my kitchen, in my living room, and I would invited my 3 friends over, and I said, okay, Bob knows the numbers better than I do. Show us what we need to do. Tell us how to move. The important thing is knowing the stair steps to success, how to move from position to position, both in structure and in volume, and what you earn at each position. So when you understand that, then you're able to teach it to other people, and that gives you confidence. So that's what I wanted to do, was instill confidence in my team. I was helping them with their stories, and Bob was helping them with the marketing plan. And I made virtual franchisee that first month. Second month, I made sales coordinator. Next month, I made QNMD, and the next month, I made NMD. And so it was amazing how fast it went. And in about 90 days, under 90 days, I was earning enough money that Bob could quit his job in construction and come home and work with me full time with this. By then, I had such a big team built, and he was teaching them all. He was kind of calling it his business. Started out with my thing that he didn't even like. And then as it started to make money, he started to claim it more. But anyways, by the end of our first year, we were able to earn enough money to leave a rented house in South Florida and come back home to Georgia. We had a couple of little jalopy vehicles. We were raising 5 boys. At this time, my youngest son was 11. The oldest one was 17. We were looking at college, and we had lost our home in Georgia. We had bought 60 acres of property and built a little, cracker box house on it, and couldn't keep the payments up. So ended up losing the house and moving back to Florida. And sorry, we've been to Oregon, and it's really dry out there, and it's got my throat dry. But so the best day of my life, I thought, was when we came back up here and bought that house and the little 60-acre farm back. I didn't think life could get any better than that, but it's gotten better every year since then. And that's June the 8th we celebrated 31 years with the company. And it's been absolutely amazing. We've built a business in 24 countries. Our 5 kids are grown. We have 15 grandchildren and 9 great-grandchildren. And we just 2 weeks ago celebrated 50 years of marriage. We renewed our vows at our barn and had a big party at the house. And life is great. And, when I first got in, Bob and I saw people making a lot of money. And we thought, well, they've made all the big money. How can there be any money left to be made? But I'm telling you, it's like a gold mine. The more we dig, the more there is there. It's amazing. And so what I learned, when I share this story, we've built business all over the world and made millions of dollars. But I'm not bragging to you. I'm trying to inspire you that if I could do this, if Bob and I could do this, then anybody can do this. And what I learned was the power of your story. Most of you, when we sat down here, didn't know me. But now that you've heard my story, with cleaning other people's toilets, shaving poodles' butts, name all the demeaning things that you can do, I've done them. And but the power of my friend's story getting me to come and listen. We don't try to convince anybody to buy, sell, or join in our business. We convince them, or we encourage them to come to and look at what we have. Just come and look at what we have. Come and look at the product. So my friend showed me the product. I liked the product. He didn't, shove it on me or push it on me. He just said, I'd like you to look at this. If you like it, great. If you don't, great too. And the same with the business. It's just if you get enough people to look at the product, you'll get customers. If you get enough people to look at the business, you'll build a team. And what we do in this business is we gather customers and we build a team. We recruit and build a team, and we teach them to do the same thing. We teach them to go out and share their story, gather customers, and build a team. So your story is what is going to create your paycheck. So, we all want to help people. We all want to make sure that people are healthy, that we're healthy, and that that we help other people get healthy. And a lot of times people neglect their business story. So everybody has a story. I know when you're brand new right here, maybe some of you have just started the product, or maybe you're not even on the product yet. But in the beginning, your story is what you saw. What attracted you to the product, or what got you to take a look at the product, the story of one of your friends, or something that you saw somewhere. So what you want to do is invite people to take a look at the product. And so your story is, this is what I saw. This is what attracted me. This is what I saw. I saw people sharing stories of how they feel healthier than they ever did before. And my story is that, I turned 68 years old last January, and my goal now is to look good, feel good, and live a long, healthy life. I don't want to be sick at the end of my life. I want to be, drop dead walking, or drop dead on the volleyball court or something, I don't want to be in a wheelchair with oxygen, dragging oxygen around. I want to be doing something active. So that's my goal. Now that I'm 68 years old, I want to look good, feel good, and live a long, healthy life. I have, all these grandchildren and great-grandchildren. I want to live to see them all married and with children of their own. So you have to get your story down and just share your story a lot. I got a little off track there. But all I've done is shared that story over and over and over for 31 years. Okay? So that's all you have to do is get your story down. And in your virtual office in the mission-driven model, there's an outline for your story. You have 2 stories, your product story and your business story. And we have a great company story too. The company behind the product and behind the business is an amazing company with an amazing president and amazing home office staff that have been there for most of them for years and years and years. But when you first start with, if you take that, download that those 2 stories, the outlines, fill in the outlines, and then create a paragraph and help your upline success partner help you figure your story out. Make your story short, make it succinct. Make it compelling, make it exciting, make people want to hear more or want more. But, when I say, I feel better than I did 20 years ago. We just celebrated 50 years of marriage, and I feel like I'm only 50 years old. And I think that's the way we're all supposed to feel every day. And it's a shame that a lot of people don't, that we're so sick in this nation. So anyways, get your story down. That's what I'd like for everybody to do tomorrow or tonight when we get off the call, is download those outlines, fill them in, and get your story going. So everybody has a story, even if you just started today. It's what attracted you and what you expected to feel in your body, or how you expected to be healthy the rest of your life. The science behind the product, is a big attractor. A lot of times you can say, we've got 38 published, peer-reviewed, double-blind, gold standard studies done all over the world, and they're scientific, peer-reviewed magazines. So the science gets some people, and just your story of how healthy you are, gets a lot of people. We had someone who came to our 4th of July party recently, and he's a friend of ours. We knew the parents, but his father passed away not long ago, and when he was here at our party, he came to Bob and he said, "I want to get on Juice Plus right now." And Bob said, what's this all about after all these years? He said, "Well, I know that my dad and you and Mom and you and Sue are very close to the same age, and you look so much younger and you act so much younger, and I can tell you're so energetic that it has to be the Juice Plus." And he said, "Look around at your family, how healthy they all are. They're athletes and healthy, and I think that we walk the talk with the Juice Plus." So at one of our parties, somebody said, "We want to take Juice Plus." That's not always how easy it is to get a customer, though. But just remember that everybody has a story, and even if you're like with the business, you don't even have your first customer yet, you don't have your first distributor yet, your first team member, but what you're planning on is building this team that's going to create this kind of income. That's what I saw, that if I gathered my customers and brought on some team members and helped them do the same thing, that was going to create my team and my paycheck. So get your story together right away. If you help someone get their story down right away, they don't fumble for words, because once you get your virtual office set up, your website set up, your brochures in order, your phone and Zoom added to your computer and all that stuff, then it's time to really go to work and pick up the phone and call someone and start talking, or send out emails. But I think that besides doing social media, which is a great avenue today, there's nothing like making that written list and going through people and saying, "Hello, this is Sue. I know you're happy to hear from me. I've started something new again." So whatever your story is, and I wrote mine out, like I said, and put it right by the phone so that I knew that I was saying the same thing to everybody, and then just start inviting people. The events is the thing that's going to make you the most money. Promoting events and putting people in events. This is considered an event when your upline team members put you on to hear someone like me who's been here for 31 years and just wants to share what I've learned. The better you get at something, the more fun it is. Remember when you first started to ride a bicycle? Like look at babies, when they first start learning to walk, they fall and they skin themselves and bump their heads. After they learn to walk, it's pretty fun because you're good at it. It's like riding a bicycle. The first few times you fall over and you break your arm or you skin your elbow, but after you learn a while, you're riding with no hands, and it's really fun. So that's kind of how this business is now for me. After all these years, it's just a whole lot of fun because I've gotten pretty good at everything that we do. And there's not a lot of skills that you need to learn, but you do need to learn some phone skills, how to share your story and how to weave your stories in, share your product story, then add your business story and weave it into any conversation anywhere, or steer a conversation in the direction that you want it to go, and you'll start to learn that the more you share your story, and your upline will help you with that too. So I just took a few notes here to try to stay on time. How much time do we have? Oh, not a lot. So knowing your story gives you confidence and keeps you from fumbling for words when you get on the phone with your friends or when you start talking to strangers. And the events, as I said, an event is a three-way call with your upline, something like this, a Zoom call, a little get-together in someone's home, then maybe a bigger meeting in a hotel room somewhere. But the biggest meeting of all is the conference, and it's in Tampa this year. And I don't know how many of you can get here, but if you can get there, it's like watching the Super Bowl on TV or being at the Super Bowl, the energy that you feel in the room with 6,000 or 7,000 people. And our conferences are not like other conferences. There's kids everywhere. We actually have a room for the kids, for the babies, the mothers and children's room, where all the trainings are piped in on a big screen there, so they can watch them while the kids play. And you'll see mothers walking around with strollers, slings, all kinds of toddlers, teenage kids, kids of all ages come to our conferences. And then so the conference starts on Thursday afternoon, and then at Thursday night, a lot of people have parties with their Tampa. Is that the Eltons? It's Friday night, the Eltons? Yeah?
Yes, we're going to the Eltons.
We have our version of the Academy Awards, of the Oscars, okay? And it's fabulous with long dresses and limousines and everything. And so you want to get to the point where you can go to those. And then Saturday there's training, and then Saturday night there's a really, really fabulous party. Everybody goes to the big party, and all the kids are welcome to the party. It's part of it's like a rave and a concert, and part of it's karaoke and ping pong and just all kinds of things that will interest everybody. So I know that I didn't get the big picture until I went to my first conference. And Bob and I took 22 people to our first conference, and we've never taken that few since then. We realized that conference sets people on fire. Not only do they feel the energy of the people in the room, but they learn so much. It gives them the confidence to go home and share their story more and dream bigger, share a bigger story, and make sure they share it every day. And your goal should be to get 5 customers and 1 team member every month. So share your story over and over and over, and that will help build your team. And I thank you for listening to me tonight. I guess or Teresa, whoever's there.
Yep, we're here. That was fabulous. Thank you so much. You never get tired of hearing such a wonderful story. Thank you so much, Sue. And you touched upon a lot of great points, because we have seasoned people on the line. We have 3 NMDs here, including with myself 4, and my husband that's listening 5. But then we have a lot of new people. I have 5 different lines here this evening, and they're brand new. They haven't even learned their story yet, because they're only like 2 weeks old. So some of them are 2 days old, some of them are 2 weeks old, and then Tere has seasoned people in Puerto Rico. So this was fantastic. I know that one of the things that I like to talk about a lot is conference. You talked about that. The power behind the stories, and then also the power behind qualifying once you get to that point. Because the name to the game is qualifying your business. So what do you have to say about qualifying?
Oh,
Do it.
It's the only way to make the 5% money, and the 5% money is the biggest part of your check. My husband and I have earned right at $27 million in this business, and 90% of it is from the 5% money. The smallest percentage is paid on the largest amount of people, and that's going to give you the biggest part of your team. So learn qualifying as soon as you can, and that's why you want to gather customers and get yourself a handful of team members, because your customers count as your volume, and your team members in the beginning count for your volume too.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I think you've touched upon a lot of important points. I think you've actually touched upon what our business is all about.
Gathering customers and building team, and you do that through your story.
That's right, through your story, and qualify your business, and get everybody on your team to qualify their business. Yeah, so that's great. Tere, do anything else, Tere, before we finish?
No, thank you very much, Sue, to be with us tonight. I'm so happy that you can share the story with all of us. So I see you in conference.
Yes.
Right.
See you
Thank
soon.
you so much. We'll see you at conference.
Thank you for having me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. Thank you,
Everybody
Wanda.
say bye to Sue. Bye, Sue.